Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here. And now that we've really looked at this relationship between force, mass, and velocity, we're going to look to use our knowledge of this relationship to explain what's going on with the pod and the two possible claims that we've used to explain why it's moving away from the station. To do this, we're going to be looking at modeling what's happening based on those two claims and using our modeling tool to do just that. So today we're going to be looking at understanding how to use our modeling features within the tool to show this relationship between force, mass, and velocity, and how to use the modeling tool to show both claim 1 and claim 2 are happening out in space. Hopefully, as we break these things down, you're then going to be able to go into task 8 and use the modeling tool to show claim 1 happening in our tool and paste a screenshot of what you did, along with going then into task 9 and doing the same thing, but for claim 2, showing claim 2 happening in space using our modeling tool and pasting that screenshot of what you did in the modeling tool. So as we break this down, think to yourself, do we know how to use the features to show how force, mass, and velocity are working with our pod, and how to use that modeling tool to show claim 1 and claim 2 happening? When you're done, put your X in whatever row you feel represents you and reach out if you have questions. So let's get into it. We know that the thrusters on the pod exerted the same force on the pod as in any other mission. So in any other mission, that medium thruster force would cause it to stop and dock, but we found the pod moving in the opposite direction. The pod's mass is still a question at this time. Since we know that the strength of the force affecting the pod was the same, mass must have caused the force to affect it in one of two ways: claim 1 or claim 2, which is what we've been looking at. So we're going to be modeling the inference you made in the previous activity for how each of these claims could be showing the pod moving away from the station. So we know that at time 3, when we lost signal, one of these two things could possibly be happening. One, the thrusters caused the pod to move in the opposite direction due to something going on with its mass. And the thrusters only slowed the pod, didn't stop it, and it hit the station and bounced off again, dealing with something about its mass. And we're going to be using the modeling tool to show how mass could have caused these two things to happen. Let's take a look. In our modeling tool, you're going to first see a row that shows what should have happened in a normal mission. And notice that in all three, we have object B. So the object B is that normal mass object with the normal thruster for normal velocity coming in, the normal thruster force affecting it, and the normal docking happening when it stopped. Now, your job is going to be to use our modeling features to show how the mass of our pod could have caused the pod to move away from the station for both claims using this second row. And we're going to show you how to do that in claim 1 and in claim 2, looking at these features. So we know that the same strength force was applied to our pod as in any other situation. So remember, we're going to show what the velocity of our pod for claim 1 and claim 2 was as it came into the station. We're then going to show the force, that same strength force, in the during force section. And then we need to show the outcome of that based on the mass of the objects that we picked. So either picking a more massive pod or a less massive pod to represent claim 1 and claim 2. Once we've done that, we'll hit the blue hand in button to save our work, and then we can screenshot it for our task 8 and 9. So your job using our modeling tool is to think about how will you show the effects of the thruster force on a velocity of the pod that has more mass, and how to show the effects of the thruster force on the velocity of the pod with less mass, thinking about our two claims. So let's go ahead and take a look at our survey. Do we understand how to use the modeling features in the tool? Do we understand how to use the modeling tool to show claim 1 and claim 2 happening? Put your X in whatever row represents you. Reach out if you have questions, and good luck.